Good morning YouTube and welcome back to the channel and a sunny day in the UK. We've finally had some good weather. For those that have been in the UK, man, it has been wet. Not the summer we had last year. But anyway, I thought I'd give you guys a quick update on everything that's happening with the cars at the moment. I've got to be honest, I've lost the love a little bit for YouTube. Not saying I don't want to do it anymore. It just feels like you put a lot in and you don't get a lot out. And I've seen that with YouTubers that other YouTubers I follow that stop putting up content, and I sort of feel a bit like that. But today I thought we're driving over to see the E46 M3. I'll give you a bit of an update on what's happening with the E92 and the E46 and a little mishap as well. So stay tuned. So as we're in the E92 M3, and this is probably the quickest update, we'll quickly run through the latest. So for those that follow me on Instagram and follow the build thread on the Owners Club, I have committed to purchasing the Carbonus intake, so the full airbox in carbon, the intake pipe, the airbox lid. It's going to be an E92 CSL, it's got to be. With that V8, it's going to sound incredible. So super excited. We're about 2 weeks ago I ordered it now. There's a turnaround time of 6 weeks, but good things come to those who wait. I mean, it's the best one on the market. From what I've seen, it's the one to go for. So I've made the decision, super excited to get that on. Obviously we'll have plenty of videos on it, but it's probably going to be early August before that's fitted. On to the E46 M3. Well, probably as most of the subscribers to the channel follow that car, it hasn't been all plain sailing, unfortunately. So as those that followed, we did the Öhlins coilovers, had them all set up with NAD UK, and Matt said to me, let's go for a proper run to Caffeine and Machines. So for those of you who aren't familiar, Caffeine and Machines, a bit more like Ace Caff in the countryside. It's a nice enough drive there, there's good atmosphere. And thought, do you know what, if I'm really going to enjoy these coilovers on the road, they're the sort of fast roads that I'll drive on. So set off early doors, 6 AM to try and beat all the traffic, and 20 minutes into the drive, Peter the rabbit decided to jump out on me, and it was like slow motion. I had my friend Brian in the car, I saw it jump out behind Matt's car, it moved across from the right, and then I just didn't see it, and the next thing it was just double bang, and I knew it was going to be bad, but literally straight afterwards you got that horrible sound of plastic touching tarmac. It seemed like miles before there was a lay-by for me to safely pull over, especially on a national speed limit back road. I didn't want to just be sat in the middle of the road, so just nursed it along and then pulled over. Splitter gone, bottom of the bumper ripped out, air duct all ripped out and hanging off, air temp sensor. It's just made an absolute mess. And don't get me wrong, it could have been a lot worse, you know what I mean? Like, out of all the drives I've done to have my first wildlife impact, I'd rather it be in the car than on any of the motorbikes, that's for sure, because you don't really stand a lot of chance of recovering it if you do lose the front wheel. So not great. Still went to Caffeine and Machine, tried to put it to the back of my head, removed the arch liner, limped there, got to Caffeine and Machine with the splitter all off. It just looked broken and sad, and at that point I was just a bit like, what am I going to do now? I've mentioned that I'm going to go with a mile end composite front bumper, but it's going to be like a 1,500, 2 grand day out for something that, yes, is going to be better than what I've got, but it's not going to look like a different car. So it's something I have in the pipeline, but just not right away. So thankfully, just a bit of a backstory, probably about 3 years ago, Matt had his E46 M3 CSL replica as well, and he damaged his right hand side splitter. He said to me, you might as well keep the left one because I've had to buy them in pairs just in case you ever have an incident. And I thought, if I damage mine, it's going to be both of them realistically, speed bump, curb, something like that. And thankfully, I'd kept it tucked away in the loft. So I managed to dig that out. On the underside, a bit scuffed, but actually on the top, it was better condition than the one I had fitted. So set about getting all that repaired. Had to make like a sheet alley brace underneath because I'd lost the front section of the bumper. Plastic welded all the arch liner. Just a bit of a nightmare really, a bit of a downer on the drive, but at least I managed to sort that, like I say, within a couple of days. Now, the big issue is literally on the last leg home, I started hearing like a faint knocking noise from the front left. And I said to Brian, can you hear that? And he said, I've noticed it for a little bit, didn't want to say anything. I thought, please don't be the Öhlins. Like, I've spent a lot of money getting these on. I spent money getting it geo, drove all the way to go and see NAD UK to get it set up. I really could do without having to take it all off and send them back, even though they've got a 2-year warranty. So the only thing I can think of, the only 2 things that I haven't changed are the standard top mounts. All the bearings were fine in there, and the drop links. And the reason I didn't do the drop links is when I bought the coilovers, I'd been told that I'd have to have a custom length done so that the anti-roll bar didn't foul the wishbone. And I thought, you know what, I'll fit the coilovers and then I'll measure it when it's all here. But luckily, when I put them on, the standard drop links worked in the factory size, so I left them on there. So I'm hoping that it is just the drop links. Now, I bought a brand new set of TRW. For those that watched the Geo video, one of the early ones when I was doing all the suspension, I bought all new TRW arms. So I thought, you know what, I'll just keep it all uniform, put some TRW drop links in, and fingers crossed, when we go and fit that today where the E46 is stored, everything's gonna be all right. So, whilst the car was off the road, obviously lost a little bit of interest in it. I don't know whether there's others out there like that. You spend a lot of money on something, things aren't working, you're not happy with it, you start getting a bit pissed off, to be honest with you. And I was just a bit like, do you know what? I'm gonna just leave this for a little bit, do some bits while it's off the road. And in that time, as I mentioned earlier, I've really started to gel with the E92. Like, I just love it. Like now, I can drive it smoothly, comfortable, talk to you guys in auto, hit the M button, and it's just a little banshee. It absolutely motors along. It just like, the noise, just cruising, it sounds good. So really falling for the E92, probably the big reason I've gone with that Carbonus carbon inlet. But I thought, right, the car's off the road, I need to retrim the steering wheel. I'd cleaned it up with a leather cleaner, but it is now starting to get a bit old, 90,000 miles. It just needed to be retrimmed. And I've loved the Alcantara that I've had in the E92, so I thought, you know what, I'll do the same for that, but I'll go with like a dark grey, more like the CSL colour. I wasn't fussed about putting the centre band in. It was a bit of a novel idea when I did it on this, but if I'm completely honest, all it does is make you realise that your tracking's out, because if it doesn't sit dead square, it's really annoying. So I thought, I'm not bothered about having the centre band again. I know when the wheels are pointing straight, I don't need that there. I never have done in other cars. It was just like I say for this one, something I wanted to do with the white contrasting against the white bodywork. But that all got done. I actually didn't use the company I used before. I won't go name dropping because I just wasn't completely sold on the people who did my E92 wheel. They're really big, they've done ones for me in the past, but it just feels like, especially in the thumb grip, the quality wasn't 100%. They said they'd address it, but it'd be another 3 weeks without the car. So I ended up using a chap called Andy, and I'll put the link in the description. He seems to be very busy. I had like a 3-month wait for him to get the E46 one in. And I actually found him through the Clio Sport scene because he'd done a lot of the Renault Sport steering wheels. Thought, you know what, I'll get it sent off, I'll get him to do the handbrake gaiter, the SMG surround and the steering wheel all matching to try and tie it in. So I got it all sent off, left it with him. I said, look, car's going to be off the road till August, take your time. Honestly, I'm not fussed about it coming back in the next couple of weeks. Just do what you got to do, get it done nicely, and we'll go from there. And I thought, well, while it's off, I need to fix the centre console, because for those that, again, go way back into the build, the rear view mirrors on the E46, the dimming fluid, when they get really hot, can leak out of them, and it's like brake fluid. It corroded my dash, and I was like, I need to get this painted. I wasn't really happy with that silvery gold colour, and I was like, do I go like gloss black, piano black, like I've done with the E92? Or do I try something different? I thought, no, maybe go silver grey so it matches the outside. But I ended up just deciding to go black. I was meant to get the guys I work with to paint it for me. They're flat out, so they're like, we can't do it for a couple of weeks. One of my friends, Lee, his friend, he's also into painting. He works at a body shop, so he said, I'll try and get it in, but he was going on holiday. It just felt like it wasn't happening. So I thought, do you know what? I've done my own painting before. I'll do it again. I've got nothing really to lose other than the can of paint and obviously my time in the garage. And I had a change of heart last minute. I thought about doing it all gloss black, but I couldn't get the steering wheel, like where your cruise control buttons are, I couldn't get them separated because they're like plastic welded in place on the back. So I thought, you know what, I'll just do that in the matte black. And the reason for the matte black is I can paint the bottom bit matte black and then it will match the matte black on the top. So fair enough, thought that would be a nice little feature. And then when I started looking at the center console, I thought, hang on, I could do that with the matte black. I was originally going to get rid of the SMG lettering, but I could do that gloss black, do the chrome surround in gloss black, and do the gear knob in gloss black. I hadn't seen it done before. I've seen that there's a company called Storm, I think it's Storm Motorworks, they do an aftermarket SMG shifter, but I was like, do you know what? This could look quite good, and the beauty is if I don't like it, I can just sand it back down again. Now, for anyone who's going to paint their E46 interior trims, and I had a look at this online, it doesn't seem it was unique to me, you have to sand all of the coating that's on them originally, the goldy coloured stuff, because it just kept reacting with the paint, even with the primer. time and time again. I couldn't believe it. It was driving me mad. So had to sand it right back. I think I used 150 grit to bring it all down, and then 400, then 600, then 800 to bring it up. And much to my missus's delight, sat in the kitchen sanding away. Finally got it all done, and then, as I say, went with the matte black, went with the gloss touches on it, and I was really happy with it. I thought, do you know what, this has actually come out a lot better than I thought, considering it was one of those sort of few beers on a Friday night thinking about it situations. I was like, this has actually turned out really smart. So continued with the theme, toyed with doing the dash strips in the satin black, but I thought it needs a little bit of gloss black just to break it up so it doesn't look all like a monotone plastic. And yeah, painted it all in gloss black, really happy with how that's come out. And now it's just a case of putting it all back together, which we're going over to do today. Put it all back now. All the paint's had a week to cure in the heat and the clear coat's dry. And then the final thing, which was a bit of luck really, I wanted to replace the SMG stick. Now the SMG stick for me had always been a bit big, a bit bulbous. I didn't like the foam pads on it either side, and I thought, I want something out of alley. Do I get it machined? And then just one evening browsing on eBay, I found a company that did billet or like machined gear knobs with a 12mm thread. So went back to the garage, measured the car. I was like 14mm is the diameter of the shaft that comes off the SMG, and I thought, you know what, I'll drill one of those out for 18 quid. I've got nothing to lose. So I drilled all the thread out, put a 14mm hole for it, and then I just drilled a small hole in the front of it, put a 4mm, I think it was 4mm grub screw in there, and then put a thread in it, and that way it can just clamp to the original shaft. So like I say, today in the sunshine, in the heat, I'm going to go over to the garage, see if this all fits. Super excited to get it on. So if the intro it's all fitted, I've done what I needed to do. If you see the chrome SMG knob back on, it didn't work out and I've just thrown away 18 quid. But for the money, I thought it'd be something different, nicer size knob. Let's see how we get on. So yeah, that's sort of a bit of an update for today. Not a massive one really. Just wanted to say that the car is still in one piece, even though Peter the Rabbit tried to put it out of action for a while, needing a new bumper, managed to patch it up. And the next one, like I said in the last video, will be a point of view drive, because the car will be coming back out on the 1st of August. So that is when we'll be filming the video, and fingers crossed it will be dry for us to do so. But as always guys, thanks for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure you give the video a like and a subscribe. Until next time.